Good afternoon, everybody. This here is Eidolon.
What's up, Madecipha in the building, Spider Bite Records.
Here at the Web Recording Studio, downtown New Haven. You already know what it is. Here at Madecipha with a brand new segment this week, which we're going to deliver to you every Sunday. Song breakdown with Madecipha, where we take 8 questions every week. 8 being the number of questions, not 7, not 9, always 8 questions to ask Madecipha.
My favorite number.
There you go. I didn't want to say all that, but he added that in. That's fine. Where we break it down and we give you better understanding to certain songs, the meaning, things you might have missed just listening to it. So we're going to go ahead. This week's song is Cancer of My Soul from the Word is Bond album. His debut album many years ago. The first question that comes to my mind when I think of the song Cancer of My Soul, one of my favorites off the album, definitely you could feel it. Where did you get the song title from, Cancer of My Soul? Because that name in itself is a lot. I mean, before you even hear the first lyric, you see the song Cancer of My Soul. Like, wow, what is this going to be about? So why don't you start there, how you came up with that name for the track?
When you think of something has cancer, you know what I mean? It's obviously like, there's cancer of this or cancer of that, skin cancer, brain cancer, blood cancers, and all these different kinds of cancers, and it's usually a dire situation. So I kind of, like, it came to me of my soul, meaning, like, you obviously can't have cancer of the soul, but what I meant by that was, I had a really tumultuous past and upbringing, and the way that I came up, that, like, I was like plagued by this sickness inside my spirit, and so you either overcome cancer and you beat it and you go on, or cancer kills you. It's one or the other. You don't, like, people don't, like, live, like, with cancer, like, oh, I'm fine, I have cancer, you know what I mean? It's like, it's either you're fucked, or, like, you get through it with a little bit of this, that, and the third, and then you kick back. Like, I listen to a lot of Joel Osteen. His mom had terminal cancer and, like, beat it. She was about to die, beat it, and lived another 40 years completely cancer-free. That happens in some cases. Some people die right away. Some people get it in, like, a couple weeks. They have, stage whatever it is, cancer, lung cancer, and then they die. So I was giving you a glimpse of my history and my past, saying that all this stuff happened to me. I'm either going to overcome it through this, is on the first CD, so I'm either going to overcome it through this endeavor, or I'm going to be stuck here and it's going to, my past is going to hold me down, and I'm eventually going to kill myself or whatever the case may be, and I'm going to lose to it.
That's a good answer and gives you a better understanding where you could come up with such a descriptive title. Which leads me to my second question. I recognize your voice, even though you sound very young. Who is on the hook with you? It's a voice I haven't heard in a long time. Can you talk about who did the hook?
Yeah,
it's a very powerful hook.
Yeah, the hook was done by, written and performed by Adam Fair, aka Luminol, my old rhyme partner, Madecipha. We were together from 2004 to 2011. He was my main partner in rhyme. We put out one album together in 2011. This album came out first before then because it was taking a little bit of time. So I kind of snuck this one out before that, which kind of caused some tension in the group. But Luminol definitely had his own style and a very unique voice. Powerful. And I had him come up with the hook for this one, and that was him on the hook. I didn't write it or anything like that. It was all him.
All right. Question 3. Back to more of this origination of this song. How old were you when you wrote and recorded this? Because when I listened to it, compared to Madecipha of 2021, it's a very different sounding Madecipha as far as delivery. You sound a different voice in the track. So how
I was a lot younger. I was probably like I'm turned 39 1 week from today. Is my 39th birthday.
Okay.
So I was probably, I wrote it maybe when I was almost 26, and maybe recorded it when I was 26, or maybe I just turned 27 when I recorded it. So you're talking like it was recorded maybe in like 2008 or in 2021.
Okay, so a little while ago.
A little while ago, yeah.
Now, everyone familiar with your style knows you rap about ghosts, hoes, and reptiles, mainly.
Money and weed.
Money and weed, thank you. How does it feel to record something so personal?
Well, this was like the first one of those kind of tracks. This is on the debut album, and this was the personal song on that album. I guess you could say Above Nature kind of was as well, but this was the one that was like the real deep personal song on that level. Now that I'm like an established artist and I have like 20 million albums out, you know, I do them every once in a while. They never really get easier, to be honest with you. This one was kind of difficult because I touched on like, you know, my first girlfriend, and I touched on deaths in the family, and I touched on being broke and not having money to fix my car and everything, and just basically summed up my life up until that point into a like 4-minute song about struggle and put it out. So it was the first time I really did it, and it brought up a lot of things that I haven't thought about or had to deal with for a while. So it was kind of like an emotional roller coaster making the song, but I feel like the end product was really dope, and a lot of people related to it, and I still get a lot of compliments, and people tell me that they really feel that shit. So I think the end result was worth it.
All right, so that answer leads me right into this next question. Are these lyrics all a true story that you rap about?
Absolutely.
Nothing fictitious, it's all real events?
Everything from, you know, Heather was my first true love. Then I moved away. That my first girlfriend when I was like, you know, 16, 17, 18. I dated this girl, Heather. We met in residential. We dated for a long time. She was like my first serious girlfriend for a couple years. I'm still really good friends with her and her husband. I keep in contact with her. I would go visit her all the time. My car broke down. I wasn't able to go there for a while and see her. It got to the point where like me, you know, seeing her was every once in a while to like I used to go all the time. She lives out in Bristol. I'm in New Haven, so it was kind of a hike there. That's real. Emily, the part or whatever. Emily was a girl that I met at Toad's Place in November 2007. I dated her from 2007 to the summer of 2009, and you know, the parts where I say my phone's. But yeah, everything in that song actually happened 100%.
All right. Now, you mentioned in the song, kind of right off the bat, about your uncle. Were you very close to your uncle? Because you mentioned your uncle a couple times.
Yeah, my uncle committed suicide when I was 9.5 years old. It was actually, my birthday is August 8th. He committed suicide on February 8th, 1992. It was the day I turned 9.5. Not that like we use half birthdays anymore when you get older, but when you're young, you're like, I'm 9.5, I'm 10.5, you know what I mean? You did that when you're a little kid. So the day I turned 9.5, 6 months exactly to my birthday, he committed suicide, and it kind of traumatized me. My father lived out of state. I had a dad. I didn't know him super well. We would see him once in a while. He lives in Ohio, and he would come down and visit us on occasion. But my role model father figure was my Uncle Tony. He was 14 years older than me, so he was 23 when he died. And he's the one who taught me how to throw a spiral and how to. I remember watching WrestleMania 6 with him. That's in the song WrestleMania 6. I remember we had the scrambler. And I remember we stole a cable WrestleMania 6. My grandma had the scrambler box.
The
hot box.
Yeah.
We watched WrestleMania 6 together. I remember Ultimate Warrior 1, and I'm like, Ultimate Warrior 1? And he's like, yeah. And it was like a big thing. And like, I remember when Undertaker debuted, it became his favorite wrestler and everything like that. And just watching wrestling with him and him playing baseball with us and just getting sports. And he was my father figure. He was my father figure. And losing him definitely... at that young, then not having a father figure definitely took a toll on me, and it really, really affected me in a negative way, and set me in a world of depression when I was in my teens, and I was in and out of psych hospitals. I talk about that a little bit, you know what I mean? I was always depressed, and you know, I was suicidal myself, and I spent a lot of time in psych wards and residential facilities. I was locked up for a couple of years, so you know, a lot of it had to do with the losing of my uncle, and that was definitely a real thing that happened, for sure.
All right, so that's 6 questions in the bag already. I got 2 more remaining. I'm going to pump question 7 right now. It's a quote from one of your lyrics, which I'd like you to elaborate on a little bit for people listening who listen to the song. I know I listened to the song. I'm like, what the hell, you know, what is this? I wanted the meaning of this lyric here. You say in the song, in the beginning, it's in the intro, I'm in trouble, but I built this hell. I'm alive. You built this hell.
Yep.
Elaborate on that.
I kind of how's a good way to put it? Like not to sound corny, but you know that remember how last week we were talking about people that copy Pearl Jam, and we talked about Creed and how Creed wants to be Eddie Vedder, and James was like, exactly. Remember that? Creed has a song called My Own Prison. It's kind of like my own prison. Like growing up, like I managed to get by, but a lot of the things that happened, I kind of ultimately happened because of my own actions, or like I wasn't on medication or taking my meds or doing the things that I needed to do. So I kind of like put myself in a world of despair, if you will. But what I meant by I'm alive is I managed to like get out of it alive, and now I'm doing okay. So it's kind of like I was in a world of pain, if you will. Some of it was kind of self-inflicted, if you will, and I managed to overcome that. That's the whole, like I said, you either beat cancer or cancer kills you. It's about me trying to beat the cancer.
Now, the last question. You fit a lot into this track. You can fit so many long stories only within 3 verses that make them sound dope, and get all these questions from that track. To get someone like me who's listening to it and hearing it and hearing about all the struggle and everything that you went through and whatever demons that you battled every day to this point now in 2021, what does keep you going? What makes you get up? What makes you still want to keep going? Still want to keep going with the rap game, with life? 'Cause a lot of people quit out there. A lot of people go through hard shit, and a lot of people wave the white flag, sit down, get on the sidelines. They don't want to keep going. What keeps you going all these years later? You've been in the game a long time.
I feel like I'm tasting success more little by little. I'm working with more established artists, and I'm getting props. And no one's like telling me I suck. Everyone that I like play myself for is like, yo, you not to have yet. I don't surround myself by yes men by any means, but I get a lot more love than I get hate. I just haven't got it widespread yet, but I feel like it's still possible. I listen to a lot of Joel Osteen and stuff like that, and it says like how your time is coming and whatever. And there's times where I want to quit, but like to be honest with you, listening to him keeps me motivated and keeps the dream alive. And yeah, man, I just feel like that it's possible. I feel like I got a good thing going on. I feel like with the ghost hunting background and the oddities thing, and how I'm really into reptiles, and how I'm trying to, get. I just did an interview the other day. I was talking about how I'm trying to get the witch from Connecticut a grave. How I do all these random things that there's not really anybody like me, and there's not anyone that flows like me, and it would just be like a sad story if I quit. I mean, my biggest fear would be to be like an Edgar Allan Poe and wind up like dying and becoming famous after I die and not get the props that I feel like I deserve. But even if that happens, I feel like I still made it, man. It's like I gotta keep going until I can't go no more. You know what I mean? And the tank might not be as full as it was like back in the day. Like I'm definitely starting to slow down a little bit now, and I'm trying to build up artists such as yourself and work on other things. And I'm writing less, and trying to just focus on what I have out now and just make more merch and try to get the ball rolling rather than pump album after album after album after album. But there is still gas left in the tank. And as much as I don't like rap as a whole, I love rapping and I love the business end of it. You know what I'm saying? So it became kind of like I think that I'm able to, I think there's a possibility, man, that this could really, that this could work. I watched Psychopathic really blow the fuck up in the mid 90s. I watched Tech Nine. I watched Twisted form their own label. I watched a lot of people form their own labels and make it, and I feel like I have the talent, I have the uniqueness, I have the drive, I have the motivation, and I have the right people behind me. I wish there was a financial backer that would come and put a whole bunch of money into us that would really get us on another level. But I feel like if I don't have it, we don't need it. That's what Joel Osteen always says. You could do it with what you have. So I'm just trying to do the best what the circumstances are, and I feel like it really could be just, who knows who listens to us on YouTube or whatever can happen at any given moment that, at a snap of the fingers, something can pop off, and we could be elevated to a level that we don't know about. I mean, right now we're just chilling in my studio. Next week, you know, ICP might hit us up and like want us to come do a show or something like that. You never know what exactly is going to happen. And all I know that is certain, like how like if you quit, it's like death. And death is certain, but when you quit, nothing is going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. I mean, somebody can still hear of you, but and maybe whatever. But if you stop doing it, you're never going to get the brass ring. You're never going to get the title belt. You're never going to win the award. You're never going to get any of that if you don't stop. So I don't really have any quit in me in any of my endeavors. I've been doing the turtle thing for a long time. I've been doing the oddities thing since 2006. I've been doing the ghost hunting thing since '04. The turtle thing probably started off in '92 or '93. I'm really into all that. I mean, even jiu-jitsu, I stopped going, I go back. I stopped, I go back. I've been doing it for a good solid like 5-6 years now. I mean, when I really am passionate about something, I just keep it moving. I wish I had more money to put into this, but we make way with what we have. So that's what keeps me going. It's like I feel like me and you could go on the road and, you know, be like a group like Twisted or something like that and I see all the fans and everything. I hear other music groups that are popping off, and I feel like me and you are more talented. Not to compare to other people, that I give them props for doing their thing, and I don't disrespect other groups. And it's cool that other people made it, but I feel like we can too. So to answer your question, it's just like I think that there's really a chance that we can maybe make this happen.
All right, that's the 8 questions for this week. This has been
Song Breakdown with Madecipha.
8 questions for you, the viewer, to understand a little bit more about what goes on with the creative process of writing these tracks. Visit us, spiderbyrecords.com, Instagram at Madecipha. You can find all those other links there.
Instagram at Spider by Records.
My Instagram, Eidolon860. You can find the spelling of that at Madecipha's.
Peace.
See you next week.